पहले आपको कुछ बड़ी फंडामेंटल चीजें समझनी यू हैव टू अंडरस्टैंड सम वेरी बेसिक the test of every political activity and every political system is one and only one. Does it raise the standard of living of the people? Does it give people better lives? Now see, before the Industrial Revolution, which started in England in the middle of the 18th century or a little before that, and then spread all over the world, there were agricultural feudal societies everywhere. And in agricultural societies, the methods of production were so primitive that most people had to be poor because very little wealth was generated by the primitive methods of production. But after the Industrial Revolution, a unique situation has been created in world history that modern methods of production are so powerful and so big that enough wealth can be generated to give decent life to everybody on earth. Now nobody need be poor. But the truth is that in fact this world is divided into two worlds. ये एक दुनिया नहीं है. There are two worlds. One is the world of the developed countries like North America, Europe, Japan, Australia. China has also joined their ranks now. And the second are the underdeveloped countries, if it includes India, Pakistan, Bangladesh. Now, our national aim in our Indian subcontinent must be to uplift and transform our subcontinent from the ranks of the underdeveloped countries into the ranks of the developed countries. We must make India a highly industrialized, highly modern state like USA, which we can do in 15, 20 years. It doesn't take much time, because what does that require? It requires two things. One, it requires a huge pool of technical talent, which we have. We have thousands of very bright engineers and technicians and scientists. Our engineers are manning Silicon Valley in California. I go there very often. In American universities, they are full of Indian professors of engineering, science, mathematics, medicine and so on. We have a huge pool of technical talent, and then we have huge natural resources. So we have all that is required to convert India into a highly industrialized country like USA. We can become like USA in 15, 20 years. But now see, the unwritten secret rule in the developed countries is that India must never be allowed to become a developed country. Because if it does, then with our cheap labor, we will undersell their goods and their factories will close down. Because once you set up a massive industrial base, then everything turns on the cost of labor. And a country which has cheap labor has a distinct advantage, because it can sell goods at a much cheaper price and undersell the business rivals. So the developed countries have this secret understanding or rule that India must not be allowed to become a developed country. And how do they achieve this? They achieve this by making Indians fight with each other in the name of religion. Hindus and Muslims must be fought. You know, they work through the agents. But behind the agents are the real principals who are in the developed country. They make us fight in the name of religion, Hindus, Muslims, we must keep fighting each other. And this partition was also part of this plan, that India must not be allowed to emerge as a modern industrial giant like another China, of which we have all the potential. So this partition of 1947, you can read my article, The Truth About Pakistan. It was published in a Pakistani newspaper called The Nation, and it is online, The Truth About Pakistan, in which I mentioned many of the facts Irfan has mentioned just now, that up to 1857 there was no communal problem. Hindus and Muslims used to live like brothers all over India, helping each other, celebrating each other's festivals. There was no communal riot before 1857. The whole mischief begins from 1857. That is the historical watershed. Because in 1857 the Great Mutiny broke out, in which Hindus and Muslims jointly fought against the British. And after suppressing that mutiny, the British decided that the only way to control India was divide and rule. You can read this on an article on Google called History in the Service of Imperialism. Please note it down, History in the Service of Imperialism by B.N. Pandey. Letters used to come from London, from the Secretary of State to the Governor General in India, that make Hindus and Muslims fight with each other. And that was done in a very, very systematic manner. The British collector would secretly invite the Hindu Pandit, give him some money secretly in the night and tell him that tomorrow start speaking against Muslims. And similarly, he would call the Muslim Maulana, give him money in the night and tell him to start speaking against Hindus. And then, for example, through their agent provocateurs, the agents, hired agents, whom the British would hire, supposing one cow is slaughtered and overnight its carcass was thrown into a Hindu temple and on the wall it was written Allahu Akbar. So in the morning all Hindus would get up and think that all the Muslims are mischievous people. Or you kill a pig and throw the carcass in a mosque and on the wall write Jai Bajrang Bali. So all Muslims would think Hindus are mischievous people. This was a well-known technique. And then in 1909 the Minto-Morley reforms came, separate electorates and so on. And all this ultimately led to partition of 1947. See, this partition was a historical British swindle because we are actually one nation. India and Pakistan are actually one country. We were one since Mughal times. Since the time of Akbar, we were one. We have the same culture, we look like each other. Many of us speak the same language. I speak to many of my Pakistani friends on Skype in Hindustani. I feel no different from them. Pakistan is actually a fake country. It's an artificially created. It is no country. It's actually part of India. Because what is Pakistan? It is Punjab, it is Sindh, it is Baluchistan. All this was part of India since Mughal times. We are actually one nation. So I don't feel any different from Pakistan. So this historical fraud has to be undone because unless we undo it, we will keep fighting each other, wasting all our resources, all our energies into fighting each other instead of jointly fighting against hunger and unemployment and lack of health care, lack of good education, which are our real enemies. So this gave me the idea in 2017 when I was in Atlanta in USA to start this organization. Of course, I'd been doing research on this subject for long and I had come to the conclusion that actually India, Pakistan, Bangladesh are one country. We are culturally one, we historically one, we look like each other. This was a big fraud, this two-nation theory that Hindus and Muslims are two separate nations. It is on the face of it bogus. So we are bound to reunite, but reunification is going to take time, another 15-20 years from now. Because those who have divided us will not let us easily reunite. If we reunite, then we will again emerge as another industrial giant like China. One China has become a headache for the West. So another Frankenstein monster will emerge for the Western country. They will not easily allow it. But we are bound to succeed because one thing I can tell you, truth has great power. सत्य में बड़ी शक्ति होती है. As Victor Hugo said, that there is one thing more powerful than all the armies in the world, and that is an idea whose time has come. So the time of Indian reunification is an idea whose time has come. Not that we will reunite just now. It will take it's a long, long road ahead for all of us. But you must realize that we stand for truth, and truth cannot be obstructed for very long. It may take 15 years, 20 years, but ultimately it is bound to succeed. I often give the example of Copernicus, who in 1547 said that it is the earth which goes around the sun. At that time the theory was of the Bible, and of Ptolemy, the Greek scientist, that it is the sun which goes around the earth. But Copernicus demonstrated that in 1547 that it is the earth which goes around the sun. That is known as the heliocentric theory. At that time it was a shocking theory because it went against the Bible. And in fact it was a dangerous theory. At that time to say that the earth goes around the sun was dangerous because it was against the Bible, and anything against the Bible could lead you to a death sentence. You could be burnt at the stake in the Inquisition if you speak against the Bible. So it was a dangerous idea. But because it was truthful, it ultimately prevailed. Today everybody believes that the earth goes around the sun. So since our idea that India, Pakistan, Bangladesh are actually one nation, we are bound to succeed, but it is going to take time. As Irfan said just now, it will take, it's a long struggle. Many people ask me what should we do, what practical steps should we do to reunite India, Pakistan, Bangladesh. And I said just now, what we have to do is only spread the idea. Don't go beyond that. Once the idea has become widespread, and it is bound to become widespread because it's based on truth. Satya ko kab tak rokoge bhai? And once it has become widespread, then people will think out ways and means by using their creativity of how to reunite India peacefully. So I am so happy to see all of you from all parts of India. All of you should regard yourselves as soldiers in this army. It is going to be a long drawn struggle. Don't expect success very quickly because there are powerful elements who will oppose us. As you know, the whole game is that India should not emerge as a modern industrial giant. And for that, Hindus and Muslims must be made to fight with each other. That is the whole game of the developed country. So it is not going to be easy. It is going to be a long struggle, very difficult struggle, but we are sure of success. Thank you.
Right now,